people standing in the bar, and I would do the exact same thing if I was you, but I will require you to come closer. Come closer! Now, we have a quest, an obstacle, nay, a challenge. We have a tightly packed program, full of surprises and delights just for you. And as you know with plans, sometimes they're up in the air, but we will do our very best to keep them on the ground. It befalls to me to introduce a few things this very evening. The name is Jack of all trades, master of some. And tonight I will start by giving all the boring but mandatory information. First of all, safety. We are inside a warehouse and we are quite many people. So if something should happen, a dragon attack or something like, and we will need to leave the building very quickly, know that along the walls are exits, emergency exits. And all of these doors can be opened. Just don't open them for fun. But if needed, they are all around us. Just follow the outer walls. Something of similar importance. Toilets. If you find yourself in lack of bladder control, just go in the far direction towards the office building. Many of you have been in the adventure room where you met Baron von Thunderclap, his name, ruler of the In that room, there are 2 toilets. If you go along the offices, there is one additional toilet on your right. And if you go further down, all the way down to the workshops, you will find additional facilities. Don't worry, you will find them if you really have the need. Last but not least, since we are LARPers and things sometimes get active, if someone is injured and needs a little bit of first aid, just seek out one of the staff members, ones with the leather epic eye, members of the Dragon Eye Syndicate, and they will show you the way to a first aid kit. That being said, it is now time to introduce a very special person. A person that has promised dearly that I won't make too much of a fuss about. But let me just say this. In this company, we of course have a CEO. But the abbreviation, the meaning of this title, is not what it usually is. Nay, I would like to introduce, and let you all give a warm welcome to, our chieftain, epic overlord, Rene Vent.
Are your bellies filled with delicious food?
Aye.
Yeah. And have you poured your cups with wine or beer? Or something entirely else? Cheers!
Cheers to you! Salute! Salute! Prost!
Orcs and elves, human and trolls, makers and creators, esteemed adventurers and role players. It is said that the world consists of stories and people. And tonight, here at Epic Armoury, the cradle of, well, actually, here at Iron Fortress, that is the cradle of Epic Armoury, that could not be truer. We gathered to show, it has been a few days where we have pushed really, really hard. I have to be honest. So making a welcome speech, rehearsing it, getting it all done, and getting ready, it has been a feat, but we will get there. Anyway, I want to say that I really, really appreciate that you have all come here. You have traveled abroad. Some of you have even come from across the other side of the world to participate at this event tonight. And that makes you some of the most enthusiastic role players and adventurers out there. That inspires us, and I want to thank you for that. I also want to thank the team from Epic Armoury. You guys have worked really, really hard to make this event something very special. And we were probably not aware how much work it would take us when we had this great idea of doing the Epic Armoury gathering, but it has certainly shown that we had our hands full. So thank you guys. Well, just in a minute, right? So Epic Armoury has always been inspired by the creative energy that fuels the role-playing universe. Every day we go to work and we do something we truly love. We get to inspire role players to be inspired about their hobby and what they do. In fact, the best thing about it is that we get to do all those things and try out new things on how we inspire each other and everyone around us. And the Epic Armoury gathering is a result of just that. Inspiring, telling stories, and sharing knowledge, and creating friendships and bonds across of okay, fuck this. Okay, later tonight we're gonna unveil for the first time a full collection of products in a way we have never done before. We are going to unveil a collection that is based in the Stygian universe. It is based on mysterious dark elves and their costume and their style. It is the first time that we have made a full selection where it contains armors, weapons, clothing, and accessories. And we are super excited about that. So, with that, I want to say thank you all for coming and welcome to the Epic Armoury gathering. And cheers, everyone.
Now, Rene, can you help me with this one while I will do that? Otherwise, I'll have to shout. Now, the time has come, according to schedule, to have our first keynote. And again, we arrive at a challenge, because here you are in your costumes. You have been around, and now you have been put through lovely food, and are now seated. The conditions are perfect for falling asleep. So we will do our best to not make that happen. For this thing, I will require one of my favorite colleagues to join me on the stage. So please give a hand to Gabriele and Now what we are about to do is to do what we call a character-free keynote. And this task is a bit daunting because, as Rene said, we probably in this room have some of the most dedicated role players and resellers from all over the world. What could we possibly say that would be new or interesting to you? Well, we would like to take you on a story. Do you have your microphone ready, good sir? Great. Now, Murphy's Law do apply to technology, so if you see me frantically fencing into the air, that's what's going on. It all begins with the question, what is adventure? Adventure is that journey you take upon yourself. But not just the journey. It is the journey where you are met with challenges and problems and difficulties in a way that you will have to get yourself around, and once you survive this and return home, you will be changed forever. And you will be the center of your own story. And we have seen this in movies, we have read the books, we have read about the heroes and the triumphs, and we want a piece of it. We want to be out there. Who does not dream about being the center of attention? Standing there in the middle of the eye of the hurricane, everyone looking to you in admiration. You are wearing that cool costume, you have that important position. Yes, you are definitely feeling it. And so, after watching Witcher or something like that, you go onto your first LARP. I said, you go onto your first LARP to become the lone hero. And this guy is awesome. Deeply antisocial. All he or she has to do is to walk into that tavern, find the dark corner, and then sulk and say nothing. And then everyone will just look at you. And the whole story will center around you, because that's what happens in movies. Well, painfully, you will discover a LARP is not a movie, and the other characters in the story don't care at all. And you go from becoming the lone hero to becoming the lonely hero. And that is something we want to avoid. So, all of you with papers in front of you, we will take on a journey of a few things you can do in order to avoid that. So, on this journey, you will find that our definition for roleplay is that it's made up of immersion. You immersing yourself into the character and the story, and then interacting with other characters. That can be a bit difficult, but there are a few tweaks you can do, and that starts in the character creation. So that's what we're going to do. All of us are going to make a character tonight. So where should we start, Gab?
Well, the first that you are likely gonna do is just define or outline your character. I mean, there are so many possibilities, so many things, regardless that your race, your environment, your settings you're coming from, everything. So to help out a little bit, we developed the epic sequel, which is basically a selection of 8 different stereotyped settings, each with their own rules and dogmas. They can help you out. Well, this is actually, it's a developing tool for us, but it's definitely a great tool for everyone that wants to approach to designing a character, because that helps you stay on track. So let's say that we have the sovereign universe, which is more or less where I'm coming from with this costume. And then you know that belonging to that universe, that everything you're gonna pick from the sovereign universe is gonna fit more or less your costume. Because it's gonna play on the same rules. While if you're choosing Bruno's universe, which are more like evil creatures, orcs, black skins, and so all those kind of chaos-tamed evil, not the legal one. So of course, it will not match with the sovereign style. So the first thing is, it outlines.
Find a concept.
Yes,
and
stick to it.
You can use a class from Dungeons and Dragons. You can be inspired by one of our design universes, or maybe you have an entire other concept in mind. But start with the concept. That's the first part of character creation. So, just like the esteemed adventures around us, we now have to choose. And we have to start with something very normal, something very boring, something very from the real world. So let's have you, Gab.
Much better.
So what would you like to be? We're about to make a character for you.
I want to be a ninja. Do we have any ninjas?
They're hiding.
Oh, okay. Let's go with the second choice, pirate.
Yeah, great choice. So where do you start?
Well, we start with the basic pirate. So maybe yes, pants and white shirt, and of course high boots. Yes, that's pretty much basic pirate.
So 3 items.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It looks a bit plain to me.
It looks boring, doesn't it?
Well, yeah.
So what then?
Well, I think we should start adding some accessories, like giving a little bit of spice. No? Yeah, like at least a hat, a belt, so like a sash. I mean, we also have to we should start adding a little bit more.
All right.
Oh,
Answer.
much better. Second layer, bandolier, a weapon, and yes, a fancy coat. Yes?
So it's just like making candles. It's about layering.
Yeah, it's about layering. Layering is actually a very, very important part of this.
All right.
Shall we get back to it later?
Yeah, we can. But I'm thinking, okay, so you have several layers of costume in here, and we get it, you're a pirate, but then you're going to a lab, and there'll be hundreds of pirates. And
Yeah.
if you say, I'm looking for a pirate, great.
Yeah, who?
So,
Which one?
we need to do something that makes you stand out. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, yes, I think about it. Well, maybe contact lenses?
Oh, contact lenses. Great.
Like weird red contact lenses.
Oh, you
Yes,
chose the red ones. Great.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
actually,
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, we're a company of products. We'd love to sell you some contact lenses.
My
But,
father was
do
a
you-
demon, and yeah, my mother was half demigod.
All right. Okay. But, and honestly, do you people see the red contact lenses? No. Okay. Let's conclude this. It's a nice feature, but we need something more flashy to make the tweak we're talking about. Something that makes it possible for us to stand out in a crowd.
All right.
Do you got something?
Well, I do have nice feathers. I like feathers, so maybe very long feathers or a bright color that they will stand out.
Well, you're Italian. I'm not surprised. All right. So, do you have some? Can we see them?
Yeah, sure. I mean, by chance, I haven't done that yet.
Oh, what a coincidence! Wow. Okay. So basically, you took a tricone
Yes.
and just added these flashy feathers.
Yeah, that's basically one of our, basic trigon, pilot head, but adding a couple of feathers, giving some colors, and yes, I mean, that's
Well,
pretty
you
cool.
definitely stand out. Okay, let's add those. Oh,
Well, I guess that's a little bit too much.
yeah. I mean, the wooden leg. What's going on there?
Well, I know. You need to have a good leg if you want to be a real pirate, no?
Okay. Let's just conclude that layering is good, but you can also exaggerate. I mean, the wooden leg. Are you going to wear that for 3 days at large?
Not even for 3 minutes.
And you're wielding
We
what?
have been there.
You have 3 swords, and they're different styles, all of them. So keep everything in moderation.
Are you
Okay.
sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. So obviously this won't do. So here's what we'll do. We'll take those feathers, and then we'll add those. That's nice. And I mean, it's beautiful. And if you can't see them, we are starting now what is called the signature tweak. And so, let's just have a closer look at those. Wow. That is nice. So, with the signature tweak, we do a little tweak to the costume that makes it possible to pinpoint someone from a far distance. Something that not everyone has. So what we would like you to do now on your sheets is to write something down what you would do as a signature tweak for your character. And you can also draw on that very gender-neutral figure that we have on it. So you have 30 seconds. And trust me, it's better to jot something down and then change it than having nothing.
Tick tock, tick tock.
What will be something flashy and visible on your character?
That of course needs to be contextualized.
Character for the 1930s novel.
Yes, it needs to match the concept.
Pipe.
Oh, that's a good one.
I gesticulated it.
Yeah.
Are those the popcorns from Armoury?
Yeah.
Very nice.
All right. I think that'll be that.
3, 2, 1. Time's up.
Very well. So basically, we now have the part of the signature tweak we call the anchor. The thing that anchors you visibly in the crowd. And in Gabrielle's case, we have the tricorn adorned with flashy blue feathers. But that's only the physical part of it. There is also a conceptual part to it, and that is the nickname. Because very few know who Edward Teach was. But many people know the name Blackbeard. So it's in the same context that we will now choose a name for this pirate. And what could it possibly be?
Brian.
Yeah, Ryan, good choice. But no, let's have him be named Bluefeather. If someone says, look for Bluefeather, someone asks, well, what does he look like? Well, he has huge blue feathers, you can't miss him.
And he's a pirate.
And he's a pirate. Then we have the signature tweak we need. So, just take 10 seconds to find that nickname of yours. And remember, you can always change it. That's love. It's an iterative process. Now, the last part of the signature tweak, let's wait with that. That's the name. But we're not done. I mean, there's no personality in this. So, Gab, what do we do?
Well, we need to add some background. To add one of those connection with a story that we want to tell. Right?
Yeah, sure. How do we do that?
Well, that depends. You need to add something like visual, but at the same time that can put the people asking why. Like, what is that? I mean, that's really weird. Like, what's the meaning of that? And that's immediately give you the chance of telling your story. And so basically to roleplay, that's the reason why. No?
All right. But you're not just a designer, you're an Italian designer.
Yes.
Show us what you've got.
Should I take it?
Yeah.
So, well, there's a bandolier there. That is basically like a bandolier to open your weapon, but it can be modified, something much more. Like, I choose this, and I've added all this small whiskey bottle.
Okay.
Because I want people to ask me, but I mean, what about all those tiny bottles?
Yeah, what is that about? Okay, that looks great. Let's just have a look on the screen so we can see the details.
What the hell?
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I don't know how that snuck in there. Okay, so here we have a close-up. We have the tweaked bandolier with many bottles. It is now a bottlier. And it's filled with whiskey, if someone asks. So basically, this is the part of what we call the interaction tweak. And the first step of it, the one that Gabriele just shown, is what we call the bait. The thing that invites people to ask, what is going on here? What is that
Why
about?
are you going around on a large, old dead leader
Yes.
on yourself?
Yeah, or preferably, they don't ask the player, they ask the character. What is a nice pirate like you doing in a place like this? So now, you have 30 seconds to come up with the bait of your interaction tweak. What peculiar detail. And it doesn't have to be funny or humorous or ridiculous. It can also be serious. What's that scar? Shaped like a lightning.
On your forehead. What about that pine bears?
Exactly. And remember again, a first idea, then scrap to a second idea is better than no idea. Alright. Now, our fellow character, our fellow adventurer in the game has taken the bait. They have asked. And then when they ask and you say, oh, I just made it for fun. Is that the correct answer?
No.
No.
Oh.
You need to follow it up with something. We have the hook. You need to prepare, because you expected this. They have taken the bait, now they're hooked. But you have to keep them hooked with a good response. I brew concoctions for those willing to pay. Now, this can mean that he's just doing alcohol, but it could also hint towards something a little more shady. And if people are then asking into that shady business, just keep it ambiguous enough to have them hanging around. You are now engaging, interacting with someone.
Interesting. Tell me more.
The final part of it, that is just like in business. People need to leave with something that makes them remember this little interaction. A reward of some kind. Now, a pirate with a bandolier, what could he possibly offer someone who has taken the time to inquire about a curious accessory and then listen to the tale or having a conversation about it?
A card game? Alcohol?
Yes.
Oh.
The answer to many problems and the solution to nothing? A toast of whiskey, or something that resembles it. Thank you for the wonderful story that you were so willing to listen to. Let's toast to that. You seem like a good chap. So it's like a sales pitch package. They are baited, they are hooked, and now they are rewarded for it. So now take a bit of time. And the reason why you get both now is that they are acting in concert. You have 20 seconds to write down a hook and a reward. Don't mind the handwriting.
You don't mind, do you?
No. But is that a real bottle of alcohol you're drinking there? In this lab where alcohol is prohibited?
No. I think I took the wrong one.
Ah.
I should have something to bring my alcohol with it.
Okay. Well, the problem with pirates is usually that rum is gone. But in all seriousness, let's say you're bringing a bottle of something to a lark and not all the people you engage with are into that alcohol thing. What do?
Well, then I take 2 bottles.
Aha! 2 bottles. And that is one happy pirate, armed to the teeth with whiskey. I think we are now ready for the concluding part of this character creation. And that would be the name. So, what should we call your pirate?
Well, I mean, I want to go out with something catchy, but not too, I don't know, maybe...
What about Jack Daniels?
Isn't that a little bit too meta game? Yes.
Okay.
Well, let's call it Daniel Jack.
Daniel Jack.
I mean...
Okay, it's a compromise, because if we choose Jack Daniels, it's pointing too heavily towards something real. But if it's Captain Daniel Jack, then people immediately catch it without it. But what if they ask if you are indeed the very captain?
Oh, that's my brother. Yeah.
Ah, alright, good enough. So, we have a name, Captain Daniel Jack. And we now have a character with a name that people remember, a nickname that they remember because they can see it very physically. And there is a bait, a hook, and a reward for interacting with this character. I can assure you that this very captain will not go into a tavern without any interactions whatsoever. He would have to be really sulking in the corner to achieve this. But importantly, we should also say that this is perhaps a little bit silly, but if you want to make a serious character and want that real hero vibe with a very defined bullshit filter, then it's also possible to use the same mechanism. So to sum things up, the take-home message of this: first, start with a general idea, a concept, a class, or a universe.
Oh, yeah. Well, we haven't really thought about the layering, but layering is actually a very, very important part of the costume, because it gives you the real thing. It's what it makes you look like a real character, and not just out of a cheap movie. It is the difference to having that layer more that isn't actually necessary, and that's the fact that make it even more real. Because yeah, most of the players can live without it, and still having a interesting and nice costume and characters. But having that layer more, adding that three-dimensionality is what actually makes you real and popping up.
And believe us, there are many manufacturers and resellers and designers here who would love to help you with that.
Yeah.
Thirdly, make a signature tweak. Make a flashy accessory and then pair it with a nickname so that there is an interaction, symbiosis going on. Then,
yeah, the interaction tweak. The interaction tweak, it's what bring the costume into the role play, because it's what you use to make people asking about your character, to make people willing to know more about you, and that's what role play, that's what interaction is, to having people sharing their stories, sharing their backgrounds, get involved, and then start new adventures from it. So that's why you have it.
And lastly, a little slice of pocket philosophy is that roleplay can be defined as immersion plus interaction. And that, esteemed adventurers, concludes this. Unless we have some questions. Yes, good sir, let me just fly over with the microphone. Oh, a picture of the previous screen.
Well, technically it was a question.
Well, it was, yeah.
A great question.
So I'll just have it slide over here, typing. And while that is being done, is there perhaps a last question?
Okay.
Then we would like to say thank you for your time. This will be a great evening!